What's going on today, guys? Hey, I want to do an interesting video today. My thoughts on the system and how the system monetizes us every single day. Now, first I want to say, basically when people start out, they don't understand how the system works, and they are honest people. As time goes by and they learn the little tricks and they see how much money is made off of their Ponzi scheme, they tend to cooperate with each other and work together. Now, for example, you might look up how the police are trained. You know, they're trained with a degree of honesty. They really are. But as time goes by, they see the fuckery, and that's the only word I can come up with, because it's lies, bullshit, scams, and all kinds of things. I could probably name it. Their attitude changes. It's kind of like a child molester that gets away with everything, and they got that sneaky smirk on their face. And when they all look at each other, they know they're going to beat the shit out of you at the traffic stop because you don't believe what they believe, and they have a firearm. And that badge is a pretend magical spell that they're allowed to use on you, because all the system is going to back them and not you. They're going to automatically put you into a animal type capacity. You know, there's a man, there's a woman, you know, there's a plaintiff, a defendant, there's a resident, and so on. There's many, many titles. And those titles, they can do different procedures to you or create evil against you, slipping in and out of those capacities. It's bizarre. They will talk about what happened and create what happened at the scene, and all of them agree with it. It's a pathetic thing. If you can see what I'm saying, that's a Ponzi scheme. That's organized crime. That's conspiracy. And they use this together to monetize you and to beat you and to degrade you, and anything they deem necessary. Oh, of course, it's not punishment, it's called justice. Yeah, it's not a joke, it's for real. That's just the police. Now, the police, the dum-dums, make these things up, figure out how to twist themselves in between these pretend laws and codes and ordinances and bullshit. And it's like a big joke to them, because they get rank and they make money. They get a bigger paycheck the bigger liars they are. You know, and someone has to say it. It's organized crime. It's a Ponzi scheme. So then prosecutors, when prosecutors go to school, they're going to do all those years. And the first year, they will test, people or candidates that are going to be prosecutors or police or judges, and they will put in the common law answer, or to see if you're going to help the people or the men and women in society, or if you're going to back the corporation that you work for called the U.S. And if they discover during that year, during those tests, you are evaluated at the end, and if you are for the people, they will oust you out of there and tell you you'll never be an attorney, you can't understand concepts, and you can't, play the game like you're supposed to. After that first year, if you do the correct answers and you act correctly and you back the U.S. system, then they will go on to tell you many, many things and show you the correct way to pull their Ponzi schemes. Make no mistake, every single thing that can happen to you is because of dollar signs. Everything is a taxable event, which is their boss, by the way, the IRS. If it's taxable, it has to go through the IRS. Everything is funneled through the IRS. So the prosecutor, when the prosecutor goes to school, or they find out he's top-notch guy or he's the valedictorian of his class, they will teach him these things, how to use the GSA bonds, how to monetize the case, how to trick you and charge you with things that you didn't do. Of course, there may be something that you did do, and then they will multiply that times, 5 or 10 times. And make you, it'll put you into a torturous position. Anybody that gets charged by these bastards feel like they're being tortured because, number one, they shock your senses. They do a shock and awe on you. You got pulled over for, a tail light being out. Next thing you know, you're getting charged for DUI. You're getting charged for interfering with an investigation. You're getting charged for an assault on the police officers because they chest bumped you to escalate the situation. If you don't believe this can happen, hopefully it doesn't ever happen to you. But there's people out there that's going to know I know what I'm saying, because it is true. It's a Ponzi scheme. So each individual in this Ponzi scheme has to play his part. The cop they put out on the street isn't, he isn't really, he doesn't really have it up here, but he's allowed to have a gun and eat donuts in the morning, if you know what I'm saying. So then the prosecutor's job is to take that situation and that report and rewrite it to the highest level or the highest degree in the Ponzi scheme. So the scheme is to rewrite it in a more professional way, because the judge is very professional. He is at the highest level of his game. The prosecutor is at the highest level of his game. The police are just dum-dums. They only do what they're told. They don't really have an education. They just know that they was beat up and molested when they were a child. Maybe I shouldn't say that. Wink, wink. Anyway, as this has been done to men and women, they accept it because all the cooperating people are never going to help you. They're just not. It's a taxable event because the courts, the police, the judge, the clerk, and all of them have cooperated to make it a taxable event. So the prosecutor, when he's done, and they've done their noticing to you, the instrument has matured. So for example, let's say there's a crack house down on the corner, and no, people shouldn't be messing with drugs. But the tactic they use is not known to the people, so then it's easy to do whatever they want to do. And they can burn you out, they can kill you, they can step on your head, they can do all these things to you and have it justified in the Ponzi scheme. So they write out an affidavit, they submit it to the record. How many ever days later, 10 days, 30 days, 60 days, it matures under law. They do a non-response, they take the order to the judge that they wrote, and they say, Your Honor, these people have admitted this. We need a warrant because they've defaulted and they haven't answered, which they never served them a copy of the affidavit. Then they go down there and they arrest the dirtbags and they throw them in jail and do whatever they want to do to them or burn them down like they did in Texas. and they're justified according to the Ponzi scheme. So it's a dirty little trick. The prosecutor is trained basically to defend one day in a mock trial in school, and then he's to prosecute the next day. And they run you through these things, and they teach you how to take men and women, lie on them, throw them in jail when they're not guilty yet still. They haven't been convicted. They give them nasty ass food that's probably pork based, that's nasty, it's not good for your body, and they put you in these places, and they do whatever they want to you. And it's a Ponzi scheme. They're in on it. They're all in on it. They're conspiring. This is going to get interesting. So then the judge wears several hats. He wears a hat that he basically has been appointed by executor by the local church. Yes, the church is in on it. They're tax exempt. They have to report you, and you're liable for taxes because the church turns you in. 501c3. Go look up the rules. It's that simple. So the judge has been appointed executor, and he believes he's appointed executor over you because he's wearing the black robe, and he's a sorcerer. He's a reaper. He is going to do whatever he can possibly do to make the most money from you, to get you to psychologically believe and mentally believe that you committed the crimes, and to get you to admit it, even though you know damn well you didn't do it. But they'll convince you that you did. The lawyer, the prosecutor, and the judge will do the squeeze on you, and they will determine for you that you did it, and that they're going to punish you, and they're going to threaten you, and they're going to do other things to you if you don't say you're guilty. You're going to say you're guilty. One way or another, you're going to say you're guilty 99.9% of the time. So remember, this is the fairest process on the planet. Remember? A jury trial, you can pick a jury trial and it can all be fair. Well, that's horseshit. If you believe that, you're like the other dummies that have been programmed in society. This is a Ponzi scheme. And you can hear it in my voice how real I believe it is. Because it is a Ponzi scheme. Ask them how much money they're making from each step of this. Ask the judge how much retirement money he gets that's in the Philippines, in an account in the Philippines. Ask the judge that. Ask the prosecutor and the lawyer if they split $25,000 on every case. Ask them who goes to jail if they don't get you to plead guilty. The lawyer. The lawyer has to pay. You know, and another thing, the prosecutor's your lawyer also. They're liars. It's a Ponzi scheme. They're all cooperating. They all know what's going on. Then they turn it into the clerk, the CFO, the agent, which is the wards of the she's the clerk for the wards of the hospital too, that trick the babies into slavery. The clerk's the one that has the treasury account that monetizes all this stuff after it's been done by the separate parties. But they've all worked together to make this like a mortgage or a security, aka Ponzi scheme. I'm just saying, this is one man's thoughts. This is not legal advice. You should not attempt anything that's in this video. If you watch this video, then you agree that you're not going to try to use this information and make me liable. My phone number will be listed below the video. Please do not bother me or pester me or call me at 6 o'clock in the morning. Please do not waste my time. We'll talk to you soon.